Welcome back to the channel, guys. If you're interested in vocal technique, pick up my ebook called Becoming a Natural Singer or book a lesson, links in the description. Firstly, I just want to say, anybody out there dealing with coronavirus throughout the world, best of luck to you. My prayers are with you and I hope you all stay safe and well. So what's the topic of this video? A few people talking about, well, you know, it's all well and good saying it's okay to be a baritone, but really, yeah, it's not really. You know, it's a disadvantage. However you spin it. And I wanted to come at that with this. High notes are relative between genders and within genders. So for a woman singing a C5, you know, fully compressed, doesn't sound like all that. For a tenor, sounds pretty special. Now within genders, you're going to get the same type of relative listening. So a G or an A flat or a high A, A4 that would be, a few notes below a high C. If a tenor sings that full out, it's not going to have the same energy in it. It's not going to have the same wow factor in it as if a baritone gets there. Now, why is this important? Because people aren't taking measurements when you sing. Audiences don't care about how your voice compares to X. When they listen to you, they're not thinking, oh, well, you know, he's only getting up to an A4 there, and, you know, there are other singers out there that get up to a B4 or a C5 or even higher more easily. So, you know, is he really a good singer? The only people that think like that are losers that watch videos like this. I'm joking, but what I mean is people that are too obsessed with vocal technique and too hyper-focused on certain parts of technique that are important, but not as important as other factors largely. So the best example that I would give at the moment in terms of a baritone that has relative high notes is Alan Stone. He's an acoustic singer-songwriter, quite well known over YouTube, less well known outside of YouTube, but exceptionally skilled singer. Now, go listen to him. Go watch his live shows and think about relative high notes. What you'll notice is, if you listen to him sing, he sounds like he's singing high. But if you go get your guitar and tally up the notes, it's not quite where Bruno Mars would be singing. It's not quite where a Jason Mraz would be singing. Yet Alan is just as skilled, if not more skilled, than both those singers. So the same note for him will sound higher than if Bruno was singing it or if Jason was singing it. And that's the beauty of your voice, is that if you develop it fully and an audience listens to you, they're not taking measurements. They will hear your high notes relative to your voice. So you'll be able to sing just as high, relatively speaking. Now, the other thing to consider is that the emphasis on high notes is often misguided. Yes, it's important to be able to fully explore your range on different compression levels, absolutely no doubt. But why is Alan Stone so good? Why are other singers who I mention frequently in the recent videos, like Ryan Adams, who sing on less range, why are they so good? Because they have their priorities in the right order. They value finesse and execution. They value detail in the technique. They value subtlety in the technique. And that's what earns them the money. It's not the high notes, it's not the power. What earns them the money is the finesse and the detail in the technique. Range and power are simply a bonus. They're something that you should layer on top of those basic priorities that I just mentioned. So when we go back to being a baritone and we think about, quote unquote, the baritone curse, high notes are relative and it's about execution. It's about how you sing, not how many notes you can sing. Once you get your priorities in the right order, you'll start to worry a lot less about being a baritone or being a tenor or being a soprano or an alto or a bass, and you start to value real communication as a singer. That requires an awareness. It requires the ability to be vulnerable in the technique and allow it to grip gently, grip in a nuanced way, in a way that doesn't distract the listener, in a way that makes sense. And when you go to sing high, you squeeze on it, you lean into a bit of power, you lean into a bit of weight. Whatever it is, if you develop your voice fully, relatively speaking, it will sound just as high as any other singer out there. So don't get tied up and bound up in worrying about whether or not you've got the baritone curse. Just get better, develop your skills and improve. And in time, you will marry your nature and your nurture. And that is when you will be a complete singer. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. Hit me up and thumbs up, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'll catch you next Tuesday. Stay safe. Take care. Bye-bye.